How propaganda actually works on you. Let's get right into it. Number 7, the just asking questions trap. You're in a debate or just arguing with your uncle at Thanksgiving and someone drops this line: "I'm just asking questions. Why isn't anyone talking about this?" It sounds reasonable, right? Curiosity is good. But here's the thing, propaganda doesn't always come at you with bold claims and marching music. Sometimes it dresses up as skepticism. This technique is called sea lioning, but its roots are much older. The goal isn't to find an answer. The goal is to shift the burden of proof. By framing a conspiracy theory or a falsehood as just a question, the propagandist forces you to waste your time and energy debunking something that was never based on evidence in the first place. Imagine someone asks, "Have you ever noticed how the flag is waving in the wind, but there's no wind on the moon? And why are there no stars in any of the photos?" You can't prove a negative. You can't personally build a Saturn V rocket and fly to the lunar surface to satisfy their curiosity. But now the conversation isn't about the 400,000 people who worked on the project, the rock samples brought back, or the mirrors left on the moon that scientists still use today. It's about their question. It's a rhetorical trap. By even engaging with it, you've already lost, because the act of debating lends credibility to the idea that there's genuine doubt. The really scary part is how effective this is on a mass scale. When 100,000 people are all just asking questions about a stolen election or a miracle cure, it creates a fog of doubt so thick that the truth can't find its way through. The goal isn't to convince you they're right. It's to make you so uncertain, so exhausted by the endless questions, that you give up trying to find the truth altogether. It turns healthy skepticism into a weapon against reality. Number 6, the algorithm of outrage. You ever notice how a flat, boring headline like "City Council approves new budget" gets ignored, but a headline screaming "City Council wants you to pay more for their mistakes" gets shared a million times? That's not an accident. That's the algorithm of outrage, and it's the primary engine of modern propaganda. We think we control our social media feeds, but we're really just along for the ride. The platforms are designed by engineers to maximize one thing: engagement. And what gets you to stop scrolling, to comment, to get angry, and to share? It's not nuanced policy discussions. It's content that makes your blood boil. It's that video of someone doing something incredibly stupid in the parking lot. It's that politician taking a quote wildly out of context. The algorithm learns incredibly fast what makes you angry, and then it feeds you more of it. It creates an outrage feedback loop. You see an inflammatory post, you get angry, you engage with it, and the algorithm thinks, "Great, anger works, give them more." Soon your entire reality is a custom curated feed of things designed to piss you off. Propaganda doesn't need to convince you of a specific idea anymore. It just needs to keep you perpetually angry at the other side. Because an angry population is easy to manipulate. An angry person doesn't fact check. An angry person shares first, thinks later. An angry person votes against something out of spite rather than for something out of hope. It's like your brain is being put in a blender set too high, and the propagandists are the ones holding the lid down. They're not even trying to change your mind. They're just trying to keep it churning. Number 5, the manufactured consent of common sense. You've heard the phrase a million times. It's just common sense. Politicians love it. Pundits love it. Common sense says we need to secure the border. Common sense says we need to lower taxes. But here's the thing they don't tell you. Common sense isn't universal. It's not a law of nature. It's just a collection of assumptions you've absorbed from your culture, your family, and yes, from propaganda until they feel natural. It's the water you swim in so you don't even notice it's wet. The most powerful propaganda doesn't feel like propaganda. It feels like reality. It feels like the way things are. In the 19th century, it was common sense that women were too emotional to vote. In the 20th century, it was common sense that smoking was relaxing. Today, it might be common sense that people who disagree with you are evil, or that the system is so rigged there's no point in even trying. This is how hegemony works. The ruling class doesn't need to force you to do things if they can make you want to do things that serve their interests. They define the very framework of what is considered sensible. When a policy is sold as common sense, the debate is already over. Anyone who questions it isn't just wrong, they're irrational, out of touch, crazy. The propagandist wins not by making you think a certain way, but by making any other way of thinking unthinkable. Number 4. The exploitation of your tribal brain. You are the descendant of people who survived because they were part of a tribe. Being cast out from the group 100,000 years ago meant certain death from a saber-toothed tiger or a rival tribe. Your brain is hardwired with a deep primal need to belong, and propaganda knows exactly how to hack this wiring. It's the ultimate us versus them machine. Propaganda works by drawing a bright, thick line down the middle of the world. On this side is us. We are the good guys, the real Americans, the true believers, the hard-working people. We are brave, honest, and righteous. On the other side is them. They are the enemy, the outsiders, the corrupt elite, the ones ruining everything. They are lazy, evil, and a threat to our very way of life. Once you've internalized this division, the specific details of the message become almost irrelevant. Any attack on us is an attack on you. Any victory for them is a personal defeat. You will overlook the flaws of your own side and assume the worst about the other. You'll consume news not to be informed, but to have your tribal identity reinforced. You'll share a meme that makes them look bad, not because you verified it, but because it strengthens the bond within your tribe. This is why political discourse feels like sports fandom now. It's not about policies or ideas, it's about team loyalty. Your team's quarterback could be arrested, and you'll find a way to defend him. The other team's quarterback could win a humanitarian award, and you'll call it a PR stunt. Your brain is protecting its tribe, not seeking truth. And as long as you see the world through that tribal lens, you are perfectly primed to accept any propaganda that confirms your team is good and theirs is evil. Number 3, the slippery slope and the manufacturing of fear. If we let them do this, next they'll be taking our guns. If we teach kids about this in school, they'll all become that. If we don't act now, the country will be destroyed. Sound familiar? This is the slippery slope fallacy, and it's one of the most potent tools in the propagandist's kit, because it hijacks your brain's fear response. Fear is a powerful motivator. It's immediate, it's visceral, and it shuts down critical thinking. When you're scared, you don't want to analyze data, you want to find shelter. Propaganda creates an endless series of imaginary cliffs. The propagandist doesn't need to prove that the terrifying outcome will actually happen. They just need to make you believe it could. They paint a picture of a future so dystopian that you're willing to accept any solution in the present, no matter how extreme. Accept a little less freedom now to avoid total slavery later. Support this harsh policy now to prevent societal collapse later. It's like a car salesman who doesn't talk about the car's features, but instead spends an hour describing in vivid detail how you'll die in a fiery crash if you don't buy this specific model with its advanced safety features. He's not selling you a car, he's selling you safety from a nightmare he just invented. Propaganda that preys on fear is selling you protection from a monster of its own creation, and the monster is always just around the corner, getting closer. Number 2, the illusion of the average person. You've seen them in commercials your whole life. The real mom in the detergent ad. The ordinary guy in the truck commercial. The folksy politician who claims to understand your struggles because they drink the same brand of beer. This is the appeal to the common man, and it's a masterclass in manufactured authenticity. The propagandist wants you to believe that their message comes not from a spin doctor in an office, but from someone just like you. They adopt a plain speaking style. They mention their humble origins. They rail against the elites while being part of them. The goal is to create a false sense of identification. You think, he's one of us, he gets it, I can trust him. But it's a performance, it's a costume. The folksy politician was likely a wealthy lawyer. The real mom in the commercial is an actress reading a script. This technique works because it makes you drop your guard. It frames any opposition to the message as being elitist or out of touch. If you question the common sense plan of the regular guy candidate, you're not just disagreeing with policy, you're insulting everyday people. It allows the propagandists to claim a monopoly on realness. They don't need to be right, they just need to make their opponents seem like snobs. It weaponizes identity against intellect, making you choose between being smart and being one of the tribe. Number 1. How propaganda actually works on you. It tells you what to think about, not what to think. This is the big one. This is the master key. For a long time, we thought propaganda was about changing your mind on an issue. Get you to hate this group, love that leader, support this war. And it can do that, but its most powerful function is much more subtle and much more profound. It sets the agenda. It decides what is even up for debate. It's not telling you what to think, it's telling you what to think about. It controls the spotlight. Think of your attention like a stage. Propaganda is the stagehand that decides which actors get the spotlight and which ones are left in the dark. If the news cycle is dominated by a salacious scandal for 3 weeks, then no one is talking about the massive policy change happening in a committee meeting. If social media is on fire about a controversial tweet from a celebrity, then we aren't discussing the corporate tax loophole that just passed. This is called agenda setting theory. The media might not be successful in telling people what to think, but it is stunningly successful in telling its audience what to think about. The propagandist's goal is to keep the spotlight on issues that divide their opponents, that distract from their own failings, or that keep the public angry and fearful about things they can't control. It's the ultimate magic trick. While you're obsessed with the shiny object in one hand, the culture war, the celebrity gossip, the other hand is quietly picking your pocket. It's making the laws, shifting the wealth, and consolidating power, all while you're glued to the drama on the main stage. So next time you find yourself deeply invested in the outrage of the day, ask yourself, who put this spotlight here? What am I not looking at right now? Because the most effective propaganda doesn't make you believe a lie, it makes you care about a distraction. It keeps you so busy looking left and right that you never think to look up and see who's pulling the strings. That's all for today. I'll be making more videos like this, so subscribe if you'd like to see the next one.